We're going to have him on in just a minute. Andrew Romanoff.
Yeah.
He's one of the 2 top candidates for their Senate nomination in Colorado. He's apparently just the other day sold his house, didn't just mortgage it, sold the house he lives in for cash to contribute to his campaign. Well, that's certainly putting your money where your mouth is. Your thoughts on a guy doing this kind of thing?
I have 2 thoughts. One, you're not going to be able to question his dedication at this point. It's a big investment. I think the race is somewhat close. I do think Michael Bennet, the appointed senator in the state, has something of an advantage. He has significant financial advantage, but in a small turnout primary, Romanoff is the former Speaker of the State House. He's got strong showing among the grassroots. It's not unfathomable an environment like this that he wins.
Good reporting, Chris. Thanks so much. Chris Salizar of the Washington Post. With me now is Democratic Senate candidate Andrew Romanoff. He faces appointed Senator Michael Bennet in the August 10th primary. Why would you have a primary in August? What sort of clown decision was that? When people are on vacation, they're not really thinking politics. Is this an attempt to keep the vote down, or what? Is this a Republican thing, or what?
It does have that effect, Chris. You couldn't probably pick a worse time to ask people to participate in this process. The good news is a lot of Coloradans are voting by mail. Our law allows counties to conduct the primary entirely by mail. It also allows unaffiliated voters in this state to pick a party and participate in the primary and then shed their affiliation the next day. We've got a lot of that going on, too.
Okay, you sold your house for $300,000. That's like burning the ships when people used to arrive in this country from Europe to make sure they're definitely going to stay. Is that what you're doing? Is this a dramatic statement to your people? I'm in this to win?
Well, it's expensive to advertise on television, as you know, and I'm running against a guy who's taken more than $1 million from special interest groups. What I'm putting in is about a quarter of that.
Doesn't everybody do that?
I'm committed to this cause. But look,
what are they? By the way, what are the special interests? What are the special interests? Let's nail, because that's a phrase that's a cliche.
Drug companies, big Wall Street banks, oil industry. My opponent's been a top 10 recipient among some of those groups.
And you're clean in that department, all those departments. You've not taken a nickel from any of those crowds.
I'm the only candidate in this race, one of the very few in America, Chris, who doesn't take a dime of special interest money.
You don't take any money from any executives in any of those companies, period. You don't do it the trick of not taking the PAC money, but taking it through the individuals.
From any political action committee.
I know, but do you take it the other way?
They've got enough politicians on their payroll.
No, do you take it the other way? Where you go around and done the executives in the companies and they get paid back later, so they don't go through the PAC money?
No, that's not.
You don't do that either?
No, I'll tell you, 95% of our donors live in Colorado, and 100%.
Okay, so in other words, you're not taking any money from insurance companies, medical officials, hospital officials. Nobody works in those industries is given to your campaign.
You know, we have decided to turn down contributions from special interest groups, from political action committees.
Yeah, you're repeating yourself,
and I think
which is what people do when they don't want to say something. Are you taking money from those people who work in those fields, but getting it directly rather than through a PAC? Yes or no?
I understand your question. Look.
Well, why don't you want to answer it?
I assume that a lot of the folks we're taking money from work in lots of fields. You have to raise money somehow. And if you say we're not going to take any money from anybody who works for any industry, I don't know where the money would come from.
No, it's just that what happens in Washington is a lot of people, to keep themselves appearing clean, take money from the industries and the special interests, but don't do it through the political action committees. They go around and take the money directly from the people who work in them, and those people get compensated later. That's how the game works. And you say it doesn't work in your case.
That's a fair question. And we actually talked about this. We thought, what kind of line can we draw? Should we say we're not going to take any money from the groups themselves? That's the line we drew. Should we say we're not going to take it from anybody who works for any field? We couldn't figure out a way to fund the campaign if we turned down contributions from anybody who had a job.
Okay. Well, you seem like I know, but
I'll tell you, a lot of folks who are unemployed have also contributed to our campaign, which is...
Let me add, by the way, I recognize your courage in selling your house, by the way. Was that a hard decision to watch your house go up in TV commercials? I mean, you're watching your house disappear in TV commercials. And by the way, are you still a resident of this state once you sell your house? Are you a resident once you no longer own the house?
I am a resident of the state, and I'm still living in my house for the time being.
Where do you reside?
My dog is too.
Okay. In other words, having sold your house, you still reside there.
Therefore, you're
still eligible to run. It's just a funny question. I thought, if I never heard of a guy selling the house he's using as his residence to run in the election, you sell the basis of your candidacy in a way, don't you?
Well, it shows you how crazy the system has become. Look, you know, 2/3 of the members of the U.S. Senate are multimillionaires. I'm not. 99% of the American people are not. And I will work on reforming the way we finance campaigns.
You're homeless, buddy. I'm just kidding around with you. By the way, good luck in your campaign. What's the biggest issue between you and Bennett? The realest issue, the issue that really matters to voters, that separates you two guys?
Well, as I said at the outset, I'm the only candidate who isn't funded by special interest groups. We need a senator for the rest of us. And when it comes to protecting the profits of big banks or the tax breaks for oil companies, my opponent has said yes. I'll say no.
So he's in the tank with a special interest and you're not?
Well, I want to be clear. He is one of the top 10 recipients of Wall Street cash. He is one of the biggest recipients of big oil money. He has voted along those lines.
So
I
he's
can't
in the
tell you
tank.
how to trace every decision he makes to every dollar.
You're saying he's going to be driven. You're saying if he gets elected. You're saying if he gets elected, he's going to be driven by the people who paid for his campaign. He's going to be directed by how he got the money from the oil people and the insurance people.
His money.
And does that corrupt him?
All I can tell you is how he's voting and where he's taking his money.
Okay.
I can also tell you these groups wouldn't spend millions of dollars on congressional campaigns if they got nothing from anybody in return.
Okay, thank you so much. Andrew Romanoff, who sold his house but still lives in the state. In fact, is hanging in that house till they come to take it away from him. Thanks for coming on. You got a good heart.